Yes.
All right, here we are, and we are talking about multifamily deals and dollars. And I have to give that credit to Kiran. She came up with that, but I think it's a wonderful name. And we talk about things multifamily. And we got Kiran here from Broadway Living Inc. And Kiran, great to see you again.
Great to see you, Jim. And I'm really, really excited. What a wonderful year and what a wonderful time to invest in real estate. Yes.
2024 is the year. Yes, indeed. And I mean, this is when there's a lot of fear, and when there's a lot of fear, that means there's a lot of opportunity. So we want all of our viewers and our listeners, ignore the noise. There's opportunities out there. You just need to get educated and you need to partner up with the right people in order to get there and to get there faster. And if we can help with in any way, giving you some information, please feel free to reach out to us anytime, Kiran or myself. But Kiran, today we wanted to talk about assets, liabilities, and how to navigate this world of high interest rate mortgages and all that sort of stuff.
Yes, I'm really, really excited for the time and the opportunities we have right now. And the only thing is when we are people, right? We get busy with the day-to-day life, doing the same thing over and over, and then um going to work and then come back and years and pass by, right? So when you think about doing something different, and then you look for asking questions and do the same thing what other people are doing. You ask questions to other people what they are doing, what you know taking suggestions from them, but end of the day you are just sum of five people around you. So if they're doing the same thing what you're doing, and like just find somebody who already has the things what you want to achieve. So
Step out of your comfort zone. That's what we've learned, right? It's about getting comfortable with being uncomfortable and going to these things and being ready to say, I don't know anything. I'm here to learn. Or I have a twoplex that I just bought. It's not going so well, and I'm here to learn. The community wants to give. They want to give back. So come out to these events that we hold. Kieran's in BC. I'm in Ontario, and in between we have experience going really coast to coast, pretty much, and we have friends in the community coast to coast. So it's wonderful. But yes, I mean, in terms of acquiring assets, as Kieran just pointed out, the reason we do this is because we want financial freedom and we want to have generational wealth. This is wealth that your kids are going to have, your kids' kids are going to have. That is really important to us. You're leaving behind a legacy, and we're doing it the right way. We're doing it by, we do things legally, we do things legit by the books. We want people to be safe and secure in the homes that we create for them. And that's the ultimate goal. So it's a win-win-win for many people. Now, in terms of acquiring these assets, Kiran, a lot of people get scared because it's a big step.
I agree. And the other thing is, if we go back to the basics and what asset is anything that brings money into your pocket, that puts money in your pocket. And that's the thing we will should never ever forget. And liability, anything that takes money from your pocket. So let's, for example, a car can be an asset or a liability. A car, the asset for a Uber driver or a taxi driver who is making money from that car. A car can be like, some people have those fleets, like they buy cars and they rent out to those people who drivers, and they have this cars. So those are the assets that's bringing money into their pocket. They're buying cheap and selling higher, right? So anything that takes money from your pocket, it's a liability. A lot of people forget about that because like for home, any real estate property is not the asset. So for example, somebody living a house, like doesn't matter if it's like 500K or like $5 million house. If it's bringing money into your pocket after paying all those expenses, and try not to mix the numbers. property tax, insurance, property management, utilities, capital expenditure, anything. If that property brings money in your pocket, it's asset. Otherwise, it's a liability. And so even if you keep that in mind and have more assets and less liabilities, you're going to generate more wealth and you are going to achieve the financial freedom sooner.
Now,
Yes.
some of these people, Kieran, they say, well, okay, that's great and all, but I still at one point I'm going to have to replace that roof. I'm going to have the stairs replaced, or the porch is going to be fixed, and I need to repave the driveway. I mean, some people just go on and they keep giving themselves a list of things to say no to getting started in real estate investing. What do you have to say about that?
I would say look at your 3 month or like last 3 months income and expenses, write on a sheet of paper and what you have to come up with, and replace your expenses by generating more income. And that income does not need to be your second job, third job, or another overtime, or like weekend work. That doesn't need to be, like we need to live. We need to live, and don't like work just to live, right? Like living, like working is just a part. So it doesn't need to be everything about your living. So whatever your expenses are, write on a sheet of paper, plan out the driveway, plan out all those things, and generate more income. How can you generate more income? Buying under market value properties, cash flowing properties. And other thing is, you don't need to buy in your own backyard. Look at the market indicators we talked about in the previous podcast, and look at those indicators and invest and buy properties in those markets.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And I mean, those are the great things. So, when you come out, and for everybody watching and listening, when you come out to these communities, we've been part of educational programs where now we've been given some ideas of what to look for, and some of us create our own Excel spreadsheets in terms of how to analyze a deal. And when we're looking at a deal, you get a real estate focused realtor to show you around, somebody that you can trust, that knows what they're doing, and they can help you point out some of the things that you might need to replace soon. Foundation needs some fixing, the drainage, there might be a drainage issue or something like that. You can plan for these things. Some of them might not be upfront costs, but that roof is going to need to be replaced in probably about 7 years. So that's something you can put into your long-term forecasting in terms of what money that you're going to need to set aside for those types of issues that might arise in your property. So great
And
points.
other, yes, and other thing is, like, this is a time for taxes, like like we are approaching April, and taxes. So I'm doing taxes and I'm reviewing all our properties income and expenses, and then I'm submitting to my accountant. And I'm realizing every year I am able to write off all those expenses like property tax and all those utility bills and any of the repairs being done on my rental properties. Those are able to reduce my the final income where I will be taxed. On the other side, I am not able to write off any of the expenses, like for my personal, like primary residence and like my own expenses. So, for example, the car. So we had a car, so we always bought like under our personal name, and we could not. So the first thing was it was coming under our personal name, and the affordability for the mortgage, so the mortgage broker will look at the TDS and GDS ratio, and they will tell us how much you can qualify for the next property. And once they see that the car payment and the car, so our affordability was lower, right? So you need to account into all those expenses. So what we did, we bought a car under the corporation. So the corporation already has cash flowing properties, and now those cash flow is paying that car payment, and it's under the corporation. We are the same driver, we are the same people using. So what I'm trying to say, We need the food to eat, we need a place to live, we need a car to drive, we need clothes to wear, we need a cell phones, right? So all those things, if you are able to justify, if able to pay from the cash flow from the properties, and you can write off through your corporation expenses, you are going to be taxed at a lower amount. So other thing is, just focus on how can you get more assets and reduce your liabilities.
Well,
Yeah.
think about everything, every bill you pay for monthly. Think about that, and now thinking of it at getting cash back when you file your taxes, because you are now owner of a business that invests in real estate. And I don't want to go too deep into this, but think about your travel. Just keep that one in mind. And travel, when you're traveling and you're looking at real estate while you're traveling, well, guess what? You speak to your real estate focused tax accountant for the more information on that. We're certainly not the professionals in that, so definitely seek out professional advice. But the thing is that you should only take on debt if it's going to make you money. And that
Mhm.
car loan, that personal car loan that we all take out, especially those 7-year car loans to make the payments this big, this small, uh, those ones will really haunt you when you're going for a refinance on your home, or some other type of major purchase where you need a loan. So try to think about it that way.
Right. And other thing is, like, if I buy a car, I can't really do anything, right? And I can't increase the value of the car. It will go down. It depreciates. But if I bought a property, it will appreciate over time, right? And if I can do something to that property, like buy a property with the exit strategy, what you can do something, add a unit, like if it's a 4 bedroom, like a two bedroom, create like a single family to duplex to a fourplex, 4 to 8. Just what can you do to the property to increase the income? That is where you're gonna make a lot of money.
There's and just with those types of ideas as well, Kiran, if I could add, I mean, you could rent out parking spots, you can rent out a garage. You can, if you have a student rental, maybe one of those snack machines might work out well for you. I know
Right.
somebody that has those snack machines, and those students empty that thing every week. So, and they're putting healthy snacks in there too, so it doesn't have to be junk. So there's lots of ways that you can think about. Anything else creative you can think of, Kieran, off the top of your head?
So like vending machines, those laundry machines, having a with the one vending machine with detergent or softener. And other thing is, other great strategy is like some people are long term, like some people are, but they're looking for a furnished place. So you can provide them a furnished place, and that can also, and you can charge them higher rent, and it needs to justify from the market market rents. And other thing could be providing extra whatever they're looking for, internet, provide them
Oh, yeah.
internet everybody is using, and you can write off, and you have higher rent.
Now we might be giving out all the secret sauce of one of our next episodes that are coming up. So let's stick we'll stick to the strategies of we're talking about assets and liabilities. I apologize. I went down a rabbit.
So other thing people think about is having like really big house, and that thinking that it will go up. So real estate always goes up, but the only thing is how many times you have control over a property that it will go up.
Right.
If it's a single family house, it depends upon the market. If people are in a good mood, that means the bank is giving them bank is able to qualify for them higher, you know that purchase price, they're going to buy. If they can't qualify, they won't be able to buy. So think about that property you're buying. Do not buy with emotions, and do not buy with the hope that it will go up.
That's right. Yeah, location, location, location. That's one thing for sure. But in terms of real estate investing, there's a lot of people living in some of the smaller towns outside, so it's location there too. It doesn't always have to be in the major markets. So,
Right.
you know,
And then once the city grows, they always go out, right? Like if they are not able to afford in a bigger city, so they move out because there's lower rent and they can drive to work. So those kind of strategies, and buy cheap and rent out. And then once the city grows out, and now every property's value has gone up.
and so the idea now is that when you're going back to these banks, you might, some of you guys watching might be wondering, what, okay, so I increase the cash flow, I have this asset, is that all it is? Is it just going to be the cash flow? No, it's the appreciation value that you put into that asset now, because you're forcing some appreciation. You're making things safe for people, you're making things legal for people. That's an improvement, right? If you're making something legal from where it was before, that's an improvement because it's registered with the city or the town that you live in. And then it goes on to in Ontario here, we have MPAC, the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation. But these are all the things that you're looking forward to. Then you go back to the bank and you say, I want to refinance because I've raised the value of my asset to this. And the bank looks at it and they're looking at the income that's generating from that. And they're going to give you a bigger mortgage. So then you can take that chunk of mortgage and apply it to your next project. So I know somebody, Kiran, that, they said they were looking over at an investor's phone, the investor had their bank account open and, they were just showing what they do. And they said, oh, my husband would have a nightmare if he had the same amount of debt that you have. And debt
Wow.
always has this negative connotation to it. People want to pay off their mortgages. They don't want debt. And it's such an old way of thinking.
So the way I think is your credit cards are at 19 or 20%. And if your credit score is really, really good, you can get really good credit cards. Most of my credit cards are at 11% or 12%. And so you can, and then the line of credit and HELOC comes at, depending upon your prime rate is, right? And on the other side, so all this money you have, the bank's money, banking has given you, you can use apart from your primary source of income to use for your expenses. Your house has a mortgage of with the interest rate 5%, and that is backed out with the property, that is a business, that is the income. And there is nothing, a credit card at 20%, $40,000 is only a credit card, and that needs to be paid from your income after paying all the taxes. However, when you refinance that property, that 200K or like 50K or whatever the amount is tax free, and that has been paid by the tenants. That is also the property. That's also another chunk of money that you can that is available to you. So look at 5% interest rate on a house compared to 20% on a credit card. Which one, like any person with this sound mind can decide 5% is better, compared to 20% interest rate. So why not take a debt, when it's backed out by a investment property, backed out by, people always need a place to live. So why get scared of taking more debt? That's
Yeah.
what rich people do. Poor people save money in their bank account, and rich people, they have assets. They have more debt.
Yes. And good debt. It's good debt that they have. And that's what we want to do. We want to get you out of the consumer mindset and into the investor mindset, because you don't want to take on debt that's not with you. And I just want to clarify, Kiran and I are using very rough numbers to get a point across. We are no way experts in this field, and we always, always, always recommend that you speak to an investor focused accountant, any type of professional, realtor, lawyer, all that sort of stuff. So you make sure you get your proper information. But the one thing that we really think you should do is you should reach out to a community or somebody that you know or trust that are investors, and just to get some basic idea of things, and join an educational program or group or community as well, so you can learn with people that have experience in it, so you're not going at it alone. A lot of people want to share their knowledge with you, and feel free again to reach out to Kiran or myself. And the other thing I just want to point out though too is, Kiran, we often use, and I'm very, very guilty of it. We often use the word write-off. Write-off does not mean you can completely write off and erase any of the money that you're owing on property taxes or your car payments or anything like that. A portion of it is write-offable. So you get to reduce the amount of the expenses that you pay on your phone bill, your data plan, your gas, your insurance, and all those types of things. You're not completely erasing it, but those are really great points.
Yes, I want to share one joke. There was I can't remember the show. It was Shit Creek, I
Okay.
think. Right. So
Yeah,
so
I saw
right. So that guy, he says like he makes money.
right
And
off.
the dad says, "Why are you spending all this money?" Like he opened up a business, and then the in business has not started creating income yet. So he buys all this stuff, and then when his dad asks, "How are you going to pay for it? How are you going to pay for like all those expenses?" And he said, "Dad, I'm just gonna write it off." And he said, "Yes, but how?" He said, "Just write and then off." So that was really, funny that you just don't write off. You need to create income so that, so for example, the income is 100K and then your expenses are 20K, and you will be, you are paying like income on the $80,000. So that $20,000 also needs to be verified by the accountant what you can or cannot write off. So ask your accountant all those questions before making any big expenses. And yeah, so how there are always things, we are learning along the way, and it's better to take advice from somebody really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And yeah, so if you want to learn about writing off, watch that episode of Schitt's Creek. But but no, definitely speak to a professional, and I mean, don't be scared, and reach out to people that you trust, or that you join a community, and you're gonna get vibes from certain people that you feel that will really take you down the road, and go with your gut instinct. Again, Kieran and I love talking about this type of stuff, so you can reach out to us anytime. And don't be afraid. It's about taking risk. Just be comfortable with getting uncomfortable and stepping out. And a lot of the times you hear, Kieran, that the amount of effort that you're going to put into a fourplex is the same amount of effort you're going to put into a 48 unit apartment building.
I agree. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's all right to start with a conversion of a single family home into a duplex. Get your hands dirty, learn the process, learn the mistakes you made along the way. And like Kiran said, we're always learning. Kiran and I and the people that are around us, we love to keep our education. We keep going to these events with real estate investors, and we're always learning about new strategies, new things, and different markets.
I agree. It's a lifelong learning. And other thing is it's the metamorphosis. Like, I'm taking the example of like how a caterpillar takes all those stages, like, I think 4 or 5 stages, and becomes a butterfly. So it's the internal changes happening inside us, like from we are going through the educational events, we are reading books, we are networking, our mindset is changing, and also from the outside, like acquiring more assets and like doing all those things. So the properties I was buying, 7 years ago, the properties I am buying right now, and the properties I will be buying in 5 years, they will be entirely different. So, and the purchase price will be lower and lower, compared to, there will be more value add opportunity, there will be more income to be generated. And other thing is, uh, be ready for a change, changing your mindset, changing that education, like assets and liabilities, right? And changing, and like, there is a opportunity knocking at your door. And if you are listening to us, and it's a time like we are exhausted, and like we were there at where people who are exhausted, and like no time for themselves, no time for their life, no time for their families, and everybody was there. And we are like, I am a healthcare professional, and I love giving. That brings fulfillment to me, making a difference in somebody's life, and watching somebody getting better. And it just brings more happiness and more fulfillment to me. And this is what I am doing. And just making a difference in people's life, transforming other lives. And I feel like if I can do it, I'm a mother, I'm a real estate investor, if and immigrant, and if I can do it, you can do it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're doing amazing things, Kiran. And you're right. And it doesn't matter also if you're watching and you think, we've seen six people with six-figure jobs and very great, government jobs, federal government jobs, great jobs, fun jobs that they like. They've actually walked away from them because they're able to replace that income and more with investing in real estate. So this is something, and it doesn't matter what age you are. Our our brain, our minds, we have neuroplasticity. Our minds are ever expanding. It's never too late. I can't tell you how many people I've been introduced to that have just started and they're in retirement stages. They're just getting started in their late 50s, 60s, 70s. It's incredible. There's so much to learn. It's so much fun. The community is great. So I just encourage you guys to reach out to somebody that you want to learn from. And Kiran and I are certainly here for you anytime.
Yes, and don't be, you are not alone. And please don't be make those decisions all by yourself. I just want to give an example. I want to keep the name confidential. So there is a physician who makes about 800K per year, and during the interest rate increase, he was foreclosed on his house, which he bought like like a year ago. And because the rates were lower, and when the rate went up really really high, and when you are buying these single family houses, and with emotions, with 4 million, 5 million houses, your mortgage payments, they don't go up by $100, they don't go up by $200, they go up by thousands of dollars. So please, if you're making good money, that is even more like um important to learn about. How can you make that work for you? It's not only working for the money. How can you make that money working for you? And
Exactly.
I have seen people making like 50,000 a year, 800,000 a year, and still having no knowledge about assets and liabilities. We need this, and we want people to have a really happy life, and have their dreams come true, being able to do anything you want, and just learn, and and invest with other people who are doing what you want to do. don't be don't be that person that I figured it out, I want to do all by myself. And just don't make mistake what people who have been in real estate for a long time have made in the past. And
Yeah.
we all make mistakes, and we all learn. So why don't we learn from somebody else's mistakes, right, rather than make and then learn? So
It's better to make mistakes together because it's learning. It's a fun process. And, I worked in a bank for almost 15 years. I did mortgages. I did investments. I have done stock trading. This is not anything that we've learned in school or in the bank when I was in the banking industry. This is a complete new level. So, yeah, get ready, put on your seatbelt and join Kieran and I, and let's explore some opportunities together. Reach out anytime, everyone.
yes, yes, I'm really excited that every person has the potential to invest and make a lot of money and replace their income if they're at a right if they find a right property and right investors on their team. This is the time. 2024 is the time. Everybody is scared. Time to jump and send a message, send an email. And it's broadwayliving@gmail.com, and send us a message on Facebook. And we are more than happy to help you out, guys.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Kiran, thank you so much. It's been wonderful doing this with you again. Kiran Kaur, everybody, and you can reach out to her. And again, I am Jim Lawrence, and I'm sure you know where to find us. Have a wonderful week and reach out anytime.
Thank you so much. Thank you.